Applied Human Biology, Unit 1, A1, Topic 6, Homeostasis. So we want to know the principles of homeostasis to include negative feedback loops, control of body temperature and physiological responses to extremes of temperature, to include hypothermia, hyperthermia, burns and frostbite. So homeostasis is a tendency to maintain a balanced or constant internal state. Things regulated by homeostasis are pH, temperature, water potential and blood glucose levels. How homeostasis is maintained. Nervous system and hormones like receptor, control, centre, effector. Negative feedback mechanisms are the most common homeostatic control mechanism, reversing a change so it reverts back to the norm. So as an example, you can see if the core body temperature is normal, that's a normal level. If the core body temperature rises above normal level, the body detects the rise and brings out a corrective mechanism to bring it back down again. If it gets too low, the body temperature it is detected and brings about a corrective mechanism, and then it goes back to core body temperature. Pathway of feedback loop is a stimulus, receptor, coordinator, effector and response. Temperature of the human body is 37 degrees Celsius. How body temperature is monitored, it's monitored by the thermoregulatory centre in the hypothalamus in the brain, and it's also monitored by thermoreceptors in the skin, but the coordinator is the hypothalamus. The sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems are both parts of the autonomic nervous system. So the sympathetic nervous system increases body temperature, it's like the fight or flight mechanism. Parasympathetic decreases body temperature, which is your rest and digest mechanism. If there is an increase in body temperature, this is detected by thermoreceptors in the skin, and the hypothalamus detects the blood temperature. Nerve impulses are sent to the thermoregulatory centre in the hypothalamus. This acts as a coordinator, so nerve impulses are sent through the parasympathetic, because you want to cool it down, to the arterioles and skeletal muscles. The skin capillaries vasodilate, so more blood flows to the surface, which transfers more heat energy to the environment. And also the hairs lie flat, which decreases the temperature back to the normal. So again, just to repeat that, if your temperature is too high, we sweat more, water evaporates, transferring heat to the environment. The hair effector muscles relax, so the hairs lie flat, which means there's less insulation. Arterioles in the skin capillaries vasodilate, so more blood flows to the surface, so more heat energy is transferred to the environment. The rate of metabolism in liver cells is reduced, so less heat energy is released from respiration. Skeletal muscles do not shiver. If there's a decrease in body temperature, this is detected by thermoreceptors in the skin, and the hypothalamus detects the blood temperature. Nerve impulses sent to the thermoregulatory centre in the hypothalamus. This acts as coordinator, so nerve impulses are sent through the sympathetic, because you want to warm up, to the arterioles and the skeletal muscles. Skin capillaries they vasoconstrict, so less blood flows to the surface, conserving heat energy, and the hairs stand on end. Skeletal muscles contract and shiver, releasing heat energy. This increases the temperature back to the norm. Again, if the temperature is too low, we sweat less heat is transferred to the environment. The hair effector muscles contract and stand up, which means there's more insulation. Arterioles and the skin capillaries vasoconstrict, so less blood goes to the surface, so less heat energy is transferred to the environment. The rate of metabolism in the liver cells increases, more heat energy is released from respiration. Skeletal muscles contract and shiver. Okay, now looking at the effects of hypothermia and also frostbite. So hyperthermia is when you're too hot, when there's a normally high body temperature. And the symptoms of hyperthermia are nausea, vomiting, dizziness, changing cognition, muscle cramps. Symptoms of heat stroke: hot, dry skin, higher than normal body temperature, rapid pulse, rapid shallow breathing, and you could lose consciousness. Hypothermia is abnormally low body temperature, Symptoms of hypothermia are stiff muscles, cold skin, shivering, weakness and dizziness, slow breathing and heart rate. Severe hypothermia symptoms are unconsciousness and a weak or irregular heartbeat. Now looking at burns. Burns are tissue damage and cell death caused by either heat, electricity, UV radiation or chemicals. So superficial burns, these are a burn that involves only the epidermis, the outer layer of the skin, characterised by reddening of the skin and perhaps some swelling. An example of that would be sunburn, also called a first-degree burn. A partial thickness burn is a burn involving the epidermis and the dermis, and it usually involves blisters. It's commonly called a second-degree burn. And then a full thickness burn is a burn in which all the layers of the skin are damaged. They are usually areas that are charred black or areas that are dry and white, and that is known as a third-degree burn. Frostbite is a condition that results when the body tissues become frozen.